What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the HTM Buddy build of the U.S.S. Reliant. I am Jordan with a line in the stars.
And I'm Ken with Ken's Hobby Bench.
And here we are, man. We're like, what would you say? Halfway through this build, maybe? Somewhere?
Oh, I hope so.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. We're a couple months in. This is probably we're approaching month 3 or so. Wow, it is week number 13 of this build. And it's funny is like I look at the model. There's not much left of it that's stock, and we're kind of coming to the end and just waiting for parts. And so, with the slowdown on the build, where are you at with things, and what are you looking to accomplish this week?
Oh, well, first of all, I'll tell you what I did last week. I managed to get some more work done on my weapons pod. I trenched out some more to run all my lights. Not knowing lighting so well, I just trenched enough for all the lights, and I said, you know what, I'll just run each one with a positive, negative, and be done with it. That's probably the safest way, I figured. So I kind of did that, and then I worked on the pylons coming down to trench those out, as well as doing my bridge and getting the lights drilled out for or the hole drilled out for the flashing light on top. So that's kind of what I did. And what did you do last week?
I got my weapons pod modified. I got my 2, what we found out is going to be red beacons down here on the bottom taken care of. I got my 2 spots here waiting for the clear resin parts taken care of. Got my photon torpedo launchers installed. And got my top beacon taken care of. So yeah, that's what I got done. I'm gonna wind up for all the difficulty in getting this part assembled at the end of the video. I'm gonna go ahead and take that off and light block it, and then assemble it, and then use Tamiya for that process. And so, so it just melts it and gets a little bit better of a connection. Ken mentioned that I should probably do that, and I was kind of the same mind beforehand, so you just further reinforced it. So yeah, that's what I got done last week. So I guess before we get started about what we're going to be doing this week, we have something kind of exciting to tell you. You want to go ahead and say it?
Well, we now have an official sponsor. We have Cass at Lake Monster Details.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cass. I really appreciate it. You awesome work, and you've done so much for us, and we really appreciate it.
Really do. It's pretty cool. Like it's the think tank that Will is. Cass is the one kind of putting it out there, and Will's doing the work, and he's printing for himself, but all of these things are going to be made for the public very soon, and
Yes.
we kind of get to beta test it, and it's really cool that we get it before you do. But Cass, thank you. That is fantastic. We really appreciate it, and all the hard work is not going unnoticed. People are really enjoying the stuff that you guys are creating.
So be sure to go and check out Lake Monster Detail. They have lots of great aftermarket parts for many different starships, and the quality is phenomenal.
It really is. Well, so on this Lake Monster Details sponsored build, Ken, what are you going to be doing this week?
Well, this week, because I don't have the clear parts yet for the grills underneath my weapons pod. So this week I'm going to change gears, and I'm going to switch over to my nacelles. I watched your videos and saw what you had done. I'm very impressed with the putting of the lights in extra on the, I guess it would have been on the inboard side.
Inboard side, yep.
Yeah, same side as the blue chiller grills. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to be doing the light back here, and just generally getting some lights ready to go, including lights for my Raytheon effect. And
nice. Are you going to be doing?
Oh, sorry.
So are you going to be doing the red crystal up front as well?
Yes, I will be doing the red crystal up front as well. Thank you for reminding me.
Awesome.
I'm not sure what I'm going to use. We did get some information from Jody over at uh, uh, Trek Mods,
Yep.
and he actually had some little uh, crystal type parts he uses, and that's always an option. Or I'm also thinking maybe get the lead in there, seal it up, and use some UV resin. Is it also a possibility?
Nice.
But I won't be able to do that yet. I'll be able to put the light in, but I won't be able to put the clear resin in until we get these put together and uh, glued up. So,
That's right.
but that's kind of what I'm going to be working on this week. How about you, Jordan?
For me, it's going to be basically getting ready to the point where I can put in the clear parts. So now that I know that these are blue, the little vents are blue, I'm going to create some blue LEDs for that, and then I'm going to get my wire trenches run. I may just go down one side, but I'm going to be throwing a lot of LEDs in a tiny little space, so I'm probably going to have to go both sides. And then it's just going to be light blocking, light blocking, light blocking, light blocking. I'm going to throw a couple of really heavy coats of um, black primer down on the inside. I have noticed that this model really likes to glow. This paint, this plastic really likes to glow hardcore. So I have a feeling that we're going to have to do a lot of light blocking and paying attention. I may actually go with a dark primer, either dark gray or a black primer on the outside before even considering. I've also considered using aluminum tape on the inside as well. So what do you got
Okay.
there?
This is a primer I use. It's just a
The outside?
AK primer.
Oh, the AK.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm definitely going with a black primer on the inside. Any black primer will work. So
Yeah, this is what I've been. I really like the War Painter, the matte black.
oh, there you go.
So
Yep, yep,
this
uh,
works really well for light blocking. But yeah, that's what I'll be using for that.
yep. Oh, right on.
Nice. Well, seems like we're kind of roughly in the same spot. Just for an update, we're waiting for Cass to get stuff printed, and we're expecting to get our parts here within the next week or two. Currently, my 3D printer is running right now, working on some more of the light boxes, so that we can get that done. So we're still steaming along. There's still plenty of work to do as we're waiting for the final little bits. But when we do get those parts from Cass, we're going to be making another couple of major modifications to the model as we're getting towards finishing the mods and getting into the lighting and then getting the assembly done. And I got to say, man, I'm really excited to see, even without paint, I'm really just excited to kind of see this model put together because we've been like playing with little parts of it here and there. And usually you don't mess with the model this long in parts when nothing's assembled. At least you assemble something. So
Yes.
I can't wait to get there. So, well, good luck to you, sir, this week.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
I have to say, I think it was your latest video when I was watching. I have to agree with you. I too have not really looked at the actual kit instructions lately. We just
I
haven't needed to.
no, it's so strange, isn't it? Like you don't like you. When have you built a model and you're not like looking in the instructions? Like the thing with Star Trek kits is they're not super complicated, right? Like there's not that many parts. Like the Reliant, not the Reliant, excuse me, the God, the Reliant, the not the Defiant, the Runabout. All of these words that are very similar together. The Runabout, for instance, like if you weren't putting any lighting in there and you had a couple of hours, you could assemble that easy in a couple of hours. Like top to
Right.
bottom, paint it top to bottom, done. Star Trek kits are fairly simple to assemble, but when we're not looking at the instructions because we're not doing anything per the instructions, it's
That's
fascinating.
exactly it.
But we've been building a model for almost 3 months.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
Love it,
you
man.
folks at home can do a lot faster than we can because you'll be able to down the road buy all the parts you want all at once from Cass at Lake Monster Details.
Yep. And you can also build at your whim because we're kind of limiting ourselves to what we're talking about in these little intros every single week and not
Yes.
going any further than that. Because if he had its time, it's every day is Saturday for Ken. If Ken had his time, he would already have this thing built. So,
Yes.
well, awesome, man. Well, I look forward to seeing what you get done this week, and I wish you the best of luck.
And I wish you the same. So
All
take care,
right.
everyone, and let's get to building. All right, so here we have my nacelles. I've just kind of taped them together temporarily, just so I can drill it where this crystal goes, and then my light back here. So for the crystal, I'm just gonna make sure I have a kind of a smooth area here for me to come in here with my rotary tool and just turn that on, and now we can just clear that out a little bit. Okay, that's a good starting hole. I'll do the same on the other one. All right, that's a good start. Now we can clean that out a little bit more. All right, so there we go. I'm kind of leaving a bit of a lip around here. I think that would make it easier to then put like a clear on top to kind of give it that nice flat kind of light. So let's take my tool, my knife here, and I'm just gonna just cut this out, clean it a little bit more, see where we're at. So maybe a little bit more in this area here. So I'm gonna try and sneak up on it. There we go. I think that's looking pretty good. Let's try the other one here and open this one up a little bit more. It's not looking too bad either. But I don't think it's the same width. So I think I'm going to go a little bit narrower on this one. I guess the telling feature will be how big of a light I can get in here. And that's certainly one thing I really like about this rotary tool is it's got a foot pedal that I can use to control the speed. As you can see, when I go too fast, it kind of melts the plastic and you get this melted plastic on here. So, but if I go slow, you don't really have that issue. It grinds it out more and does less melting. I mean, if I needed to melt the plastic a little bit more afterwards to smooth it out, I could certainly use my Tamiya Extra Thin would work. I do have several small files that I got off Temu a long time ago before things happened. And yeah, I got the idea from them from Jody over at Trek Mods. So thanks, Jody, for pointing those out. They were cheap and they were good. So let's see here if I can get all this. See, that's the problem. You get this melted plastic on here. I'm making sure my foot is nowhere near the pedal to to trigger that. There we go. Okay, let's try this a little bit more. So we'll go a little slow. Okay, how's that looking? Let's clean it out a little bit. See, I find these two pieces don't match up perfectly. You can kind of see it at the back end here too, where it's not perfect. So an option is later on is to either A, sand it, or optionally B is to remove the pins to that hold it, kind of, you know, alignment pins, I guess you would call them, and to remove them and then just glue it smooth surface to smooth surface, which in some cases would be the better option. I'm not too sure with this kit. We'll have to take a look at it and see. But it's not horribly off. I think sanding it would be a good option. But let's compare our two and see how they're looking. Okay. So they are looking a little bit better for thinness. I think I need a little bit more on this one, right up in this area here. Again, just sneaking up on it. There we go. I think that's pretty good. I think I'll leave it like that for now. Although, let's see if I have a 3mm LED that I can put in there. Okay, I have some 3mm lights here. These are just from Amazon. Actually, we'd need reds, but I'll just use this blue one here I pulled out first, just as a testing on the size. Just looking right now, I think the hole's going to need to be bigger. So we might have to go with an all new hole, or possibly just create a little pocket of clear resin and then just stick a red light underneath it. Could also be another option. Because yeah, I think this is way too big. Yeah, 3mm, definitely not the size we can go with. And it actually looks like it's even wider than the body of the light there. So at least now we know. Although with these lights we can shave them down. There is room for that. If I'm going to grab a red one here, because I think you can see I think we can see the filament a little bit better in these ones. So I'll show you what I mean. If I can get into the bag. Sometimes a problem when you keep your fingernails trimmed too short. Okay. There we go. So we can see the filament is fairly far down in there. So I have room up here to play around with my sizing. I can sand it down or use my rotary tool just up in this area here to come around and bring it down to a size that's more fitting for in here. And the same is, I could actually, you know, take a, you know, a sanding stick or something like that, and I could just start sanding the top flat so that it would be flat in there. So I think that's an option. And I say, why not? Let's go for it. Let's try and make this size a little bit smaller. I think I will use, yeah, I'll try and use this tool to start with, and we'll see what we can do. You gotta be careful you don't get to the filament, because apparently, from what I've seen other model makers and their use of them, if you do get down to the filament, then the light no longer works. So I'm going to keep working at this to get this down to a better size. And I'll come back when I do, and I'll show you what I've got. All right, so you can see here now I've really kind of ground that down. Maybe I could go a little bit flatter on the top. So let's take our tiny stick again. Just go a little flatter. And there we go. So we can see here that it does fit in there, so that won't be an issue. Just like that. Of course, it'll be coming up the other way. But again, that shouldn't be an issue. Now let's see if it still works. And we'll attach our cables here. I'm not going to lie to you, I already tested this. And see, it works. And it'll be poking out as much as we need it to. Right there, like that. So I think that's going to work. There are types of LEDs that are called, I believe they're called lighthouse, where they've kind of got a body part and then a thin peg part that sticks out that you could get. I don't know what sizes the lighthouse is, or the peg part is. I don't know if they have something that would be usable for this, just straight out of the bag. So you'd have to shop around and see what you can find. But these are just what I have here right now. And instead of me messing around trying to find something on Amazon, I might as well use what I have. And yeah, like I said, it works just fine. Just like that. Now what I did do is I did start off with that router type bit here, but then I quickly transitioned over to this flat, like sanding kind of bit here to sand around as I was going. I would just kind of come around and sand around it, and that's what gave me these results. So I'm going to make one more, and then we'll come back and we'll move on to our rear lights on the rear. So I'll be right back. So here we have our second one ground down into a makeshift lighthouse LED, and as you can see, it fits. So there we have it. We have our two red lights ready to go. I'm just going to have to burn them in for 24 hours, but I think we're good there. So the next step here is to sand down a little bit to give me a bit of a better point here to drill in, and we'll put these little marker lights on the rear. So I'll tidy up what I have here and we'll get to that. All right, so here we have these lights back here we're going to be putting in, or drilling out to put in. Now I'm going to use a 1mm drill bit in my rotary tool. Before I do that though, I'm going to sand a little flat spot on here, or if not, sand the whole thing away. Just looking, not really, I don't really see much of a ring around here that would be a ring around the light. I don't know how well you can see, if it'll focus on that part right there. So let's make that a flat spot, and then we can drill it in. There we go. Kind of give it a bit of a flat spot like that. And I'll come in here. Now if I can, I will leave a little lip around there. So that, and that's why I kind of chose a 1mm, so that it does kind of have a, like a little bit of a, I guess you'd call it a mounting point or something like that. So let's, there we go. That way now I do have that part that would go around it, like a housing for it, for the light. Like that, and then our light can stick out. Just like that. Not 100% centered, but I'd say it's really close. And I'm happy with that. So we'll do the same thing over here. One thing to note though, like I had said, these pins in here for lining everything up, it is also causing a really bad step back here. So I think our best bet will, to prevent sanding, I think our better bet would be to possibly remove the pins on the inside. Like I can push it down and it's a bit better, but it still has that step. Whereas if it's just sitting normal, I don't know if you can see that, the step right there, and then I can push it in and that step kind of goes away. So, well, we'll start doing the same thing again. We'll sand down the top, try to leave our housing there. Now remember, this kit it's an old mold, and they only did certain things when they upgraded it. These small little things, I don't blame them for not really getting to them. Okay. Again, I'm using my thumb to stabilize, and then kind of coming in like that. Otherwise, you're gonna want your drill bit's gonna want to wander. I do have my magnifiers on to help. Oh. There we go. And that way I still have that housing area, I guess, for the light on both sides. So I think we're good there. Things we're waiting for from Cass. We're going to be waiting for these replacement fins back here. So the fin will have a little clear spot right back in this corner here with a way to get your lights into the opaque area as opposed to the transparent area. And then that way your thruster lights can be lit up both right back on this back side in the corner and on this side on the corner. But I don't think I need this taped up anymore. So I'll remove the tape and we'll open it up. And then what I can do is look at putting my spotlights underneath here. So we'll get to that. Okay, so here we have the insides. If we look actually at our little homemade lighthouse LEDs, which will need to be cleaned up a little bit, and then I think we'll polish the tops nicely. Let's take a look. You can see they have more than enough area to pop out of there. which we don't really want. So it shouldn't be a problem to kind of have it at the level we want, which is nice to see, like that. So we're good there. You can see here, having our lights here shouldn't be a problem either. Okay, now getting back to this area here, we are at about 24 millimeters. And I believe that's what Jordan had said too. So if we divide that by 3, we're going to have 8. Every 8 millimeters we could do that. Now, Will suggested having a 10 millimeter gap in between the two lights. So I'll go with that. So I'll go 7 mil from this starting point and 7 mil from this starting point will give me these two. And that'll actually give me a 10 mil, should give me a 10 mil gap in between. So let's take this down to our 7 mils. Like that. And find our points. So, put there. So I'll take something to mark. This is just a little scribing device, really sharp. So I should be able to just make a little point there that I could see. Double check that I can see that. Yeah, okay. But it's also going to need to come up a bit to be more on this curve. So, let's see here. 7 mil. That is a good thing about having this paint on here, is I can scrape at it. So there we go. That's my line right there. And we'll kind of come up to about, say about here. So make a little indent. Okay, and then we'll do the same over here. We'll come up. Make sure you're on camera. Guess it depends how much of a perfectionist you want to be. Oh, geez. All over the place. There we go. Okay, so we'll come off the end again here. Right like that. And you go. Oops. Don't go off at an angle. Make sure I can see that line right here. I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but it is right here. And we'll bring it up to about here again. What I will do before I drill them, I'm actually going to use the calipers again and make sure they're both at the same height off there. But now I want to check and make sure that is like a 10 millimeter gap in between the two from center to center. So there to put there, and that's all. That's pretty much 10 right there. So we are good. Now, how high do we want to come up? So zero it in, and we will come up. Let's see here. Let's say maybe 3 mil. Let's see where 3 mil is going to put me. Oh. 2.99, close enough. I used to work for the government, so close enough for government work. That's going to put us right, if you can see, right there on the curve. Kind of on the top side of the curve. And again, about there. Actually, let's see here. There. There. You know what I'll do? I'll take some tape and I will make a template. Because we haven't made a template in a while. So I think it's about that time. However, I shouldn't need this for it, so we can just go like that and turn it off. What I'll use is, you can use a ruler or anything like that. I have my Infinity cutting board, so I'm going to use it like that. So in this upper area, this first chunk here, these gaps are all 1 millimeter. So what I can do is I will take and just remove this first end piece here, like that, and then I'll count off 3. So we will go, okay, 1, 2, 3. Like, oh. I should probably put a fresh blade in this knife. Always a good idea. So again, 1, 2, 3. It's right there. There we go. And again, 1, 2, 3. There we go. So those are both 3 millimeters. I can take a set of tweezers. I got my nice pink ones here. These are just really cheap ones I got with a wood book nook kit that I got from Todd over at Hobby Time Modelers. Feel free to come over to Hobby Time Modelers and see us. We are normally on Friday nights, and we are also on Sunday afternoons. Okay, these are actually not very good tweezers. But we'll slide this into position, and we'll see where that puts us. So yeah, that does put us more on the downside. So I'm going to try, let's go for 4 millimeters and see where that puts us. Let's get rid of this 3 millimeter one. Let's put it over here for now. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you want something like this Infinity board and you can't find them, there are some other manufacturers that make them. Just look for a tape cutting template. They do make several patterns. This is A. I have B. Sorry about hitting the camera there. C and D. So it'll give you different shapes and options. So some I use more than the others. I don't think I've used D a whole lot. I think a few of these up here. B I've used a few times. C, as you can see, a little bit. Probably really good for a radius on a saucer like your 350 Enterprise. But yeah, different companies though will have them labeled differently. I think the AK one, possibly it's the D one that has this type of straight line one with the different sizes. And then each section goes down, so you've got 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4. So, okay, so let's see where this is going to put us. Put my tape in there. Make sure that's flush against there. And I think that's a good spot right there. I think that's a good height. It's on the top part of the curve. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with. So we'll make sure we're still in this zone. We will be, so perfect. And I'll count on another 4. So let's see here. We're based on there. So let's 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. All right, let's put this right here for the moment. Get rid of this one. Like I said, you could use a ruler. Nothing wrong with doing that. You can find these, I think, on eBay. A different version of them. I think that's what Jordan got. The Infinity ones were kind of, as far as I know, the first ones to kind of come out. And then it was just copied by a number of different producers. Display makes some, but I think most of them have them as D, the D set one being this lined version, whereas the Infinity one seems to be the only one that's has this line as the A. Okay, so we're making sure that these are at the lined up on the base here, not curved down past it and not too high. So that should keep our height the same. Now sorry, I got to pull this away here and find my spot here. Find my line. Yeah, right here. So we need to come up a little bit further to right there. So I'll mark my spot with my scribing tool. There we go. And this one should be right there. Let's double check. Turn this back on. Zero it. And let's see where we are. So we got there and where's that? There we go. So there, yeah, so yep, 10 millimeters. So those are my 2 spots. I'm going to use a 1.5 mil drill bit to have a little bit more of a larger light. Let me see here. You know what? Is that going to be too big? You know, let's go with a 1 millimeter. I can always come back in and go bigger. It's easier to do that than it is to go smaller. So I'll just pull this out, grab my drill bits, put this one back. Let's go down to 1 mil. Right there. Okay. I don't think that's straight. Let's try that. That's probably a little bit better. I'll double check. Yep, not wobbling or anything, so there we have. Okay, so let's do our first one right here. Again, I'll use my thumb to kind of do that, and I'll try not to keep any flesh behind where I'm going to be putting the hole, so I'm not drilling holes in my fingers. Never a good day when you do that. other point right there. There we go. That is my 2 holes. There we go. Clean that out. Clean that out, and then take my tape away, and we'll see how it looks. There we go. So we have our 2 spotlights there for underneath the hole. And remember, when you're doing this, I guess I should have said this earlier, remember it's the side with a chiller grill. You're not doing it on the outside. Okay, so I'm going to set this up and do it to the other one. So I'll be right back. All right, so here we have it. So I've got my lights drilled in on for my spotlights, and we have our top lights drilled in on the, I guess the marker lights on the rears, and we have our red crystals up here, ready to go. So I think that's going to be it for this week's episode. Sorry, it's a little shorter than what I normally produce. But what I'm going to be doing now is I'll leave these to burn in for a day, for 24 hours. And then I'll give them a little bit of a polishing. And then I'll probably do up some lights here for next week. Hopefully by next week we might have our new resin parts. We can modify the fins on here. And other than that, I'll have to do up some lighting. I'll also look at doing, in the next episode, for the chiller grills, I'll be using some frosted glass spray from Rust-Oleum just to diffuse the light here more. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to watch Jordan's video. If you like what you see here, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you get notified of more videos as they come out. I do have several other builds I've started that will be on the channel. Thanks again to Cass over at Lake Monster Detail for sponsoring us. It's very awesome. And thanks to Will at the Ensign's Bench. Go check him out. He's the one who's created a lot of these mods, and he's done an awesome job. So once again, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.